I'm Bella, the Maker Mama boss lady behind Bella's Custom Crochets, and this is episode 9 of my podcast. There's a lot of stuff going on in the shop right now. A lot of colors, a lot of patterns. Look, I'm wearing a knit thing. It's my first ever knit full size. We'll talk about it later, but this is mostly a crochet podcast. I am going to talk a little bit about knitting, but mainly I'm a crochet designer. I don't know why I needed a gang sign type thing there. Tired. The whole world's tired. Mostly a crochet podcast. If this is your first time coming, thank you for joining. And if you have come back, thank you for doing so. I appreciate all of you. You are very welcome here. And yeah, we're just going to talk a little bit about what I've been making during hashtag crocheting through COVID. So yeah, I'm not going to talk an entirely lot about the whole world situation because we all know what it is, but I left my house for like the first time today other than the woods. Went to the grocery store. So that was fun. And I have to say, humanity is not at its best right now. I know I've seen a lot of things online and like everyone else watching John Krasinski do some good news. If you haven't, oh my goodness, get on that. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of good going on in the world right now, but the people at the grocery store were kind of just hostile. And it was kind of sad. I think the masks make everybody seem more like stranger dangery. And a lot of times I think that like worldwide crisis brings people together. But I think because we're being told that people are the problem and people are dangerous and everyone's dangerous and don't know who's dangerous, that people are just like really on edge and like no one's making eye contact in the grocery store. Like 6 foot distance eye contact is not going to give you anything. You can still look at people, and I know it's hard to smile with a mask on, but come on people, be gracious, be nice. So that's my COVID rant. I'll get on to the rest of it. I hope wherever you are safe, happy, healthy, and you have lots of yarn. I have lots of yarn and lots to tell you about. Looking at my notes. Alright, the first thing I wanted to show you, I thought I set one aside. Apparently I didn't. But we'll insert a picture here. I last week spent a lot of time making ear savers, which if you aren't familiar is a little, you've seen the picture now, but a little rectangular-y, oval-ish 3 to 6 inch long piece of crochet fabric that you then add buttons to either end, and therefore medical professionals or like people who work in grocery stores, the essential workers who are having to wear the masks with the elastics on them. I have heard that it's causing a lot of discomfort, the elastic rubbing and chafing behind their ears constantly. And obviously you can't do anything about it rubbing on their faces because it needs to be tight there, but the ears, we can provide a little relief. And I know a lot of sewers are, oh, my hair guys is always, okay, whatever. I tried to grease these wisps down. They want to do their own thing. But I know sewers are a lot of them are making the masks, which not entirely sure how great they work or don't. I'm not talking about that, but the ear savers are something that crocheters can contribute, and they're really quick, really easy. So if you are interested, I put up a tutorial on this channel of how I've been making mine. I'm not selling them, I've just been handing them out to my sister's an EMT and a couple nurse friends, handing them out there. And I did a little tutorial. There's a pattern that I walk you start to finish through in a real quick, I think it's like 8-minute tutorial video. I also have a full photo tutorial on my blog, and there is a PDF pattern if you want to purchase the printed version or the printable version. That is going to include a cute little thank you tag with care instructions as well. It's a little plug there. But if not my pattern, there's lots out there right now. These have really taken the crochet community, just grabbed our hearts, and now everyone's real busy making these ear savers, mask extenders, mask meats. What else has it been called? You know, you've seen them around. And if you haven't, go check that out and get to making. I will just say, I didn't mention in the video, but I did say in the blog post that certain hospitals do have specific requirements as far as materials you can use. I haven't run into that because I haven't been shipping them off to hospitals directly. And I haven't had any issues with the friends and family members I've given them to, but I have heard from other crocheters that certain hospitals may only want cotton or may only want bamboo buttons or different criteria. So I'm not sure the best way to go about finding out that criteria, possibly calling. I I don't know who's sitting around at your hospital answering phones at this point, but maybe just seek out that information if you can before you make hundreds of them and then they get rejected. Because they obviously need to be a sturdy material and held up to washing and sanitizing and that sort of thing. So yes, do your research. But a lot of us have been making those, and I guess they make a really big difference. So if we can contribute something with the skills that we have, why not? My throat gets so dry because I don't talk to humans all day. I talk to my 2 humans, but, you know, talking continuously, it's rough. The color changes every time I take a sip of tea. Don't choose a white mic next time. This is also the first time I put on makeup today, and by makeup I mean some mascara and a tiny bit of eyeliner. I had some highlighter on earlier because, you know, when you're wearing that mask you need your highlights to be popping. Yeah, we've been living the low maintenance life over here. So that's the only new pattern I have. It's tiny, it's not all that exciting, and like I said, I thought I saved one to show you, but either my toddler took it somewhere or I gave it away. I don't remember. Go check that out. Other thing I'm not going to show you again because I've talked about it the last couple podcasts, but the Fandeco vest is hopefully coming out in about a week's time from when this video is airing. It's currently April... What is time anymore, guys? April 21st, maybe? And it'll be showing up at the end of this week? I don't know. It's like the 3rd week of April, guys. Does it really matter? April goes on forever now anyway. So hopefully the last week in April / first week in May, the Fandeco vest is going to be available. There will be a pattern drop video with all the details on that when that is available, as well as a tutorial on the stitch that I made up, I hope, for that pattern. So that'll be available in the next week or so. But basically it's a light and airy, springy, summery, mid-leg length vest pattern. I'm really selling it, aren't I? I guess we should drop in a picture again. Sorry, JoJo. It'll be available next week. Rin size is extra small through 4XL. Tested, tech edited, whole thing. We're real excited about it. Coming at you soon. And then finally I have a thing I can show you with my hands now. Alright, so this shawl, I have called it like 15 different things on this podcast, so I kept changing the name, and it has had many incarnations, reincarnations, carnations, those are flowers. The vest, it's only like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I really should pull myself together here. Toddler's been getting last set of molars. We ain't sleeping. But I started this like a zillion and 7 times, I think like 4 times, and kept changing the shape and the design and the stitch motif. I changed it so many times, guys. But I finally wrestled it into submission, and we're calling it the Serenity and Shiloh Shawl. Serenity and Shiloh. Because we all need a little bit of serenity and Shiloh right now. If you're not familiar with those words, serenity means like tranquility type peacefulness, and Shiloh is a biblical word that has a couple different meanings, but basically means like place of rest. So we could all use a little tranquility and rest right now. So this is my Serenity and Shiloh shawl. I cannot get the whole thing in screen to show you because she is a beautiful beast. Super lightweight. I meant to weigh her before I showed you, but it's so light. I'll show you the yarns in a second, but I'm going to put this on over this. It's going to look like craziness because this is not an outfit I would put together, but it's so big it'll just cover right over that color work. It's roughly like 91 inches across, and this is going into testing this week. So by the time you're seeing this, it's already in testing with my testers. Ooh, that is a bad outfit. Bad outfit. But the shawl is lovely. It is worked from one end to the other. So you're increasing till you get to the center point, and then decreasing. And it's got basically 2 stitch motifs that you're going to be using. One is this open version, and then one is just this more. I'll show you the solid section. This guy here So it's not complicated once you get the stitch motifs down, and I'm hoping to have charts in the pattern as well as full written instructions. So it's just the same stitches over and over. You're just going to be changing up the amount of rows and then some little striping sequences. And yeah, I just had a really fun time once I figured out the shape that I wanted it and how I wanted to decrease and increase. I had a really fun time just kind of letting the stripes do their thing. Originally I was like, should I make them symmetrical so it like reverses when it gets to the middle and goes back the other way, or should I have a play? I should not. So the stripes are kind of random. I love this middle section here where it just meets the point there. Thought about putting tassels on it, but that was just a little too much. So it's just, yeah, it's lovely. And you can, it's long enough that you can definitely go around multiple times and kind of bandana scarf it. If you wanted to wear it as a more winter weight, cozy around the neck type thing. I love this contrast. I love it so much. Can you hear me when I whisper? I'm not sure. So I'll probably wear it like this more often than not, but if you want the ends hanging down, you can. You can also go traditional. I should really plan my outfits better so this doesn't look like chaos. Traditional shawl over the shoulders. I rarely wear shawls like this, but if that is your cup of tea, you can go that route. Cozy up with that. Look, I love how the stripes don't match. Maybe that will drive some of you crazy, but I love it. Love it. So yeah, hopefully in the next, I think I set the deadline for the test as May 18th, so hopefully by the end of May, this one will be available as a springy, summery weight. Lovely shawl. And this is my first time doing something from end, increase, decrease to the other end. Is there a name for that? I don't know. It's a triangle shawl, but the method of construction, this is my first time doing one like that. I've done asymmetrical before and then like top to bottom. So this is a little bit new. I'm excited about it. Let me show you the yarns. I have mentioned them before, but I always like to give credit where credit is due. I'm going to try and do a better job of holding up yarn labels so we don't have to physically put them on the screen for you. Alright, so color A. Where are you? Okay. Are you color A or color B? What are you? I forget, guys. I've been doing many designings. Much designing. Much designing. Okay, so this is color A. Color A. It's currently, it is discontinued. Can you see that well? Alright, so Nettle Grove by Plymouth Yarns, discontinued, but it's a lovely, I should mention it's a fingering weight shawl if I didn't say that, but this is a 25% cotton, or no, 45% cotton, 28% linen, 12% nettle, 15% silk. So there's a combo for you. See it all on the bottom there? I don't know if it's going to focus. Want to focus? Do I know what I'm doing? I do not. Someday, guys, I'll have a fancy camera that'll autofocus for me, but we're not there yet. But yeah, this one's discontinued. I haven't had it left over from another project, and I threw it in there just because the two other natural colored yarns were just a little wishy-washy with my skin tone and hair. So I threw some orange in there, and now it's got 70s vibes, and I love it. Have I mentioned I love it? So you can insert another, why am I holding this upside down? I don't have my glasses on, so I can't necessarily see what I'm doing. Fingering weight. Pick three that you like. But what I used, the next one is this one. Silver Key Stitches. She is local to me out of Connecticut. And this is a naturally colored, I never know, it's not naturally dyed. What is the proper term? It is the natural color, the original color, this brown. Did I say that this was the orange? Yeah. Orange was the Nettle Grove. The brown is Silver Key Stitches, a natural alpaca color, and it is called Sabara, I think is how she says it. It is 70% alpaca, 20% merino, 10% bamboo. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. That looks pretty okay. And this is also milled in Connecticut, which is really exciting. I'm not sure if she personally has the alpacas or where the alpacas are coming from, because I know she's usually a yarn dyer who works with like superwash and stuff, so I'm not sure where the alpaca fiber is coming from, but I know it's local to me. And then the last one is from an alpaca farm local to me, actually in the town that we got married in Canterbury, Connecticut, from Burgess Brook Alpacas. And this is raised on her farm, also milled in Connecticut, and it is 70% alpaca and 30% hemp. And it's called Lilu. I don't know if that's the base or the color or both. But again, it's a natural color of alpaca, so that's that. So you can pick any 3 fingering weight options that you like. I really like the alpaca and the natural fibers because it creates just a really nice lightweight drape. But you could definitely do it with some superwash or whatever you have on hand. I know a lot of us are working from stash right now. So that will be coming. I just wadded it up into a ball. That will be coming soon. Speaking of wadding it up to a ball, hopefully this weekend as well, you guys are going to be seeing a video on blocking. I did a little bit of tutorial as I was blocking this out step by step for you, because I know a lot of people are intimidated by that, especially crochet. I don't think we talk about it as much as knitters do. But you can watch the tutorial if you want all the details. But basically, there's different methods of blocking, but I always wet block. So basically submerging the thing you made in warmish water and letting it relax, and then kind of shaping the fibers into their final resting place. Sounds like you've killed them. But yeah, it kind of just sets your piece, opens up the lace really nicely, makes sure all of your stitches are even in tension, and folding a triangle shape like this is proving really difficult. But yeah. So that'll be coming soon. And I did save all of the ends that I sewed in. There were 147 ends. Please do not let that deter you from the shawl. There were that many ends mostly because I had frogged it so many times and started again. There's still going to be a lot of ends because it's a striped shawl. Such is the reality of that. But yeah, I have like an entire pint jar of shawl ends that, yeah, 147 fingering weight shawl ends that I had to sew in. Labor of love, guys. Had to make this design happen. So I'm really glad that we got to the point that we're at now. So that is the Serenity and Shiloh. Let me just move her off to the side here. Take another sip of my tea, which is sitting in a basket with everything, and I'm likely to drop something in it very soon. I'm actually going to need more tea. What else do I got to show you? Alright, the next one is a collaboration with, I believe she's LaRue Crochet. LaRue. She told me how to say it. Like lemon. LaRue. LaRue Crochet on Instagram. But this is her LaRue cotton. And she reached out to me wanting to know if I wanted to work with her yarn. I have not designed anything summer weight, summer designs before. And I have also never designed in anything that's 100% cotton. This is a Pima cotton base. It's a DK weight. And DK to light worsted she has it listed as. I'd say it's pretty true DK. 218 yards. And the colors I'm going to show you, they're tied on here just so I can keep track. But the brown is going to be called Coffee Please. That's alright. And then the speckly one is called Falfetti. That's upside down. You'll see it better when I show you. But basically I'm designing a summer weight top in her yarn. So I need to get the Fandeco out, and I need to get the Serenity and Shiloh thoroughly in testing before I can really math on this one. But I have gotten the initial stages done and the math, at least for my size, in order, and then I gotta grade it all. These are the cakes that I have left. So this is Coffee Please, and this is Falfetti. So what it's going to be is a tunic length top. Tee, I guess, tee. It's going to be a front panel and a back panel. So you are going to have to seam, but it's going to be worth it. Not so bad. Nice straight lines. Seams are usually pretty straight lines. I don't know if that's a selling point. But the front is going to be pretty simple. Not super exciting. A take on a really, see my pen sticking out there? That's not even the front, that's the back of the front. Looks about the same though. A take on a very traditional crochet stitch. Not going to tell you because it's a paid pattern. But yeah, so this front panel, kind of boring. It's got some nice ribbing on the bottom though. Fan of that. Love me some good crochet ribbing. And I love the way that this color worked up. It's really really beautiful. And if I ever get to be outside on a beach and be tan, I feel like it's going to look really good. If not, it'll look really good sitting on me when I'm quarantined in my house. Whatever. Let's pretend I'm dressing up every day. So that's the front panel. It's boring because the back panel is fabulous. It's kind of a business in the front, party in the back kind of situation. This is the mullet of crochet. It's not a mullet. My daughter has a mullet because that's just how her hair wants to grow. Alright, that's just the right way. Alright, so if you have seen my Fandeco vest, you are familiar with this shenanigans here. This is my Fandeco stitch motif. So the accent color. Ooh, white just does really bad things with my blue wall in the coloring, guys. I'm sorry if it's doing funky stuff. So the back is across the shoulders is going to have this panel of really beautiful, really beautiful Fandeco lace. Is it lace? I guess we'd call it lace. So there's going to be a lace panel across the back and the shoulders, and I have it so that it's going to hopefully hit, it is going to hit. I'm going to make sure it hits. This is all blocked out already, so it fits me really well, but I'm going to make sure I get feedback from testers and whatnot, so it's going to fit comfortably, assuming you want to wear a bra with a bra, because I don't like it when you can see the big strap across the back. So I also don't like complicated bras. So this should fit comfortably. You can't really see, but yeah, where you split for the sleeves and the body, there's going to be a little more coverage there. And then the bottom half of the panel is the same as the front. There's going to be a little bit of sleeve detailage once I get the panels seamed together. And I think what I might do, as I have some of it left, I actually have more of it than this too, is that I might do an alternate sleeve. I think the regular sleeve is going to either just be ribbing or just like some rounds in the main color. Haven't done it yet, so I haven't decided clearly. But I'm thinking I might do a second sleeve option that has a little bit of Fandeco edging if you wanted to do a little more contrast. So this is all kind of theoretical still. Not finalized, but I will be talking about that more as I start getting that ready for testing. And again, it's going to be extra small through 4XL. So I'm going to need testers. So if you are interested in testing any of my patterns, I pick testers every single time. So you can head over to my Instagram account, Bellas_custom_crochets. And what I do basically is every time I have a new pattern, I kind of ramp it up there and do a Google form. Is that what it's called? Google form application, just asking some information from you. And then I go through all of those things and I pick the testers that I think are going to be the best fit for that particular design. I try and have some new faces, some old faces, not age-wise, but as far as new people who haven't tested for me before and old people of all ages who have tested for me before. Especially with garments, I like to make sure I have a broad range of all the sizes, usually multiples in each size. So yeah, if you're interested in testing, Instagram is the place to be. Because right now I don't have a set tester group, I just pick people for each one. So if you're interested, definitely go follow over there. This is going to be, obviously, like I said, a summer weight, or summer garment, so looking at probably releasing in like July. We're a ways out on that, but I wanted to show you because I'm excited about it. So we'll keep you posted on that one. Move this off to the side so I don't drop it in my tea. I'll put those back in there. What else we got? Alright, I have one more crochet thing. We're just zipping along. I always say that, and then I go for an hour anyway. One more crochet thing. So last episode, I told you I was making a lockdown blanket, which is basically a way of tracking the days which you are in lockdown. And I said I was using Emma of Potter and Bloom's pattern. And then after I watched the episode, I went back and I looked at Emma of Potter and Bloom's lockdown blanket pattern, which is up on her blog for free. It looks great, but I'm actually not making it. Totally skipped a set of directions. So yeah, let me just show you what I have. This is my lockdown blanket. It's not different enough to call it my own pattern. It's just a screwed up version of Emma's pattern. So hers was really pretty. That mine's, I'm not sure mine's pretty. I have mixed feelings on it currently. But I committed to it and I'm a stick it out kind of person. But yeah, so Emma's is fingering weight. And she meant it to be scrappy. Mine is scrappy, but she's doing like sock yarn scrap, so it's all really pretty, hand dyed, and her hexagons are, I think, 3 colors maybe each. So she's using multiple colors per little hexagon. Hexy square. It's a new shape. And it's a join as you go, but I think she started with the center one and then kind of just started working around. So depending on how long this goes, she's going to end up with something remotely blanket shaped. I am ending up, because I decided to do mine, first of all, in worsted weight. It's not hand dyed. It's wonderful stuff like Karen Pound of Love. I do believe there's a time and place for all yarns, but there are some acrylics that just do not bring me joy. But I have an entire dresser of, when I used to do amigurumi, I used a lot of the really power horse kind of, workhorse? Oh my goodness, guys. Power horse, workhorse. Be gracious to the people right now, God. I'm sorry that I'm making them listen to me. Okay. Thank you, guys. I remember what I was saying. I'm using worsted weight yarn, scraps that I have. And Emma's is a 5-round hexagon. Is 5? 4? 4-round hexagon. Mine somehow became a 3-round hexagon because I just skipped the last row. Regrettably. Because my blanket probably would have been larger and maybe more blanket-like if I had done that extra row. But hers is fingering weight, so it's going to take her even longer. But yeah, you can adapt her pattern. I adapted the crap out of it. You can adapt it to any weight yarn, any hook size. My complaint with the yarn that I'm using is that while they are all worsted weight, not all worsted weights are created equal. Some worsted weights are created more worstedy than others. Definitely got some Aran-y worsted weights in here. Definitely got, like, this is a worsted, but this one's leaning towards DK, and this is what I started with. So if I wanted to fix this, I would literally have to, like, tear out the whole thing. Meh. So what I thought would be a brilliant idea at the time was to do 1 color per week. So I have 7. I think I started on a Tuesday and I go to a Monday or something. We started quarantine. I think we started technically a few days earlier, but we decided to start counting when my husband started working from home. So March 17th, we have been at this since then. So I decided to do 7-day color swaths. There's a word. And then I thought it would be reasonable to make my rows 12 hexagons long, so it would be roughly a month per row. Okay, so this is big, and if I'm doing a month per row, am I planning on being in quarantine forever? My subconscious is, and it's not happy about it. So it would have worked better if I had started in the middle and gone around, and then I would have had roughly a blankety-ish thing. Now I'm going to have some kind of shawl wrap-ish thing, and I'm not going to wear this. Like, it's not long enough to even wrap around me. So unless we end up being in lockdown until way too long, this is not going to be the length of a blanket. It's going to be the width of a blanket. This is, I don't know, probably a little bigger than crib size. There was no measuring, no math involved here. So I just figured my daughter could use it, but what I'm going to have to do, unless something horrible happens and this blanket ends up huge, I think I'm going to just keep going on this rainbowy color blocking scheme that I have going on, and then maybe do like a strip of white, like a row of white when the quarantine ends, or a row of something that isn't one of these colors, because we're Roy G. Bibbing it, in case you haven't seen. A solid row, and then maybe just do like the bottom of the blanket all in black or gray or something. I have no idea. But I do want to end up with a functional blanket. So even if it's a weird lappish size blanket, I want it to be a blanket. Because I'm this far in, guys. We're going to finish it. So we're... This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're into week 6 here. Whew, week 6, and today's the first time I went to the grocery store. We did do Instacart and stuff, and I had done a big bulk shopping trip at the beginning, so not like we have been living off of the same food for 6 weeks, but we don't want to talk about that anyway. So yeah, I just started week 6 today or yesterday or something. So we're on purple now. And I'm not really doing, I don't know if you can tell, but the colors are in odd shapes. I'm not just doing them line by line. I had seen, I think her name's Heather of HG something. HG Designed Crochet, I think is her handle. But she's doing a blanket that she's calling her Tetris blanket, and it's just granny squares, but she's done like a whole huge chunk of red and then a whole huge chunk of like pink, and then she's doing kind of warm to cool colors. And the way that it's forming up, because she's just putting them random, looks kind of Tetris-y. So I was kind of going for hexagonal. That is not a word. Hexagon Tetris. Hexatetris. I am making up a lot of words today, guys. You are learning some vocabulary. But yeah. So like this one is way heavier. This is probably Karen. This is I don't know what. This is Red Heart. This is I also don't know what, and it's way lighter, and I wish it was thicker because it's ruining the blanket. And this is some Vannas down here. This is definitely when I was making Minions. Woohoo, copyright infringement days. We don't do that anymore. That's bad. Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't hate it, but I'm not sure I love it, but whatever, it's a blanket. So have I sold you on this idea yet? Have I sold you on this concept? Do you want to make a lockdown blanket just like mine now? I would be interested to know, though, if you guys are doing any sort of commemorative projects or anything. Because I don't know. I know that we're going to, if I had more time to sit down, I probably would be journaling. But I'm writing patterns instead when I sit down. But I know that this is going to be a time that is going to be in history books and stuff and historical. And that we're going to look back on. So I want to have something to kind of commemorate those days that we stayed home. And yeah, I'm doing bright rainbow colors because it wasn't that bad. It's not that bad. There's been way worse things in the world. I get to stay home with my husband and my daughter and bake a lot of bread. Not so bad. Wish I didn't have to wear a mask, but other than that, we're okay. Zooming right along here. What else am I showing you? Okay, we're going to talk about one more knit thing, and then we're going to talk about the colorwork elephant in the room. That makes it sound horrible. Alright, this is a half-finished object. Oh, if you will. This is my Mahogany Run Sock. Look at all my little danglers there. I actually counted rows. This one's a bobby pin because I ran out of light bulbs. And that's just on there because I don't know why. But yeah, these are the Mahogany Run Socks by the Crazy Sock Lady, Kay. And the yarn that I used is, they're both one of a kind, so I don't think you can get them still, but Kitty Pride Fibers. I wish you'd focus. You focusing? Maybe. So it was a one-of-a-kind orange, and they were both on her cattails base, which is a 4-ply fingering, 75, 25, 231 yards. It's her car door. I don't know what that's about. So yeah, both one-of-a-kind. I love the yarn. Love, love. I have the peaked up little guy here. Love the yarn, but I think it was the wrong choice for this pattern. Because this is kind of a micro striping. Not self-striping, but it does those little itty-bitty stripes. And I don't know if you can even see, but there are, can you see the eyelets? There's little yarn over guys in here. And they're really lovely, but I think the stripiness is detracting from that. And also, a more reasonable person probably would have done some sort of afterthought heel or maybe a fish lip or whatever. But I like heel flap and gusset, and it just did some kind of funky striping stuff in here. But this part is actually my favorite. I actually really like this bit. So I kind of wish the whole sock was just in stockinette, like if I had just done a vanilla sock rather than this eyelet situation. This hasn't been blocked yet, obviously. All the markers are still on there. Just threw it on here so you could see it a little better. But hopefully it'll even out a little more when I block it, because some of my yarn ovary bits are looking wonky. I also had to restart the sock because I did yarn overs completely wrong the first time. It was like the first week of quarantine and I was making up new methods. I'm clearly good at that. But yeah, I really like the way it came out. I followed, I think, the pattern exactly, 2x2 rib, eyelety bits, slip stitch. Heel. Hers is slightly different than what I've normally done, but I really like it. And I always forget which toe this is, but it was the toe that was in the pattern. Wedge toe. Are you a wedge toe? I don't think I've done a rounded toe. I always think it's a rounded toe. I think it's a wedge toe. I don't know. US size 1 needles, and this is the first time I've done a 64 stitch cast on because I was previously using 1.5 needles, and this yarn is just slightly thinner than the fingering weight yarn that I'm used to working with, so slightly larger stitch count. Let you know how they fit. So I just have to go make another sock now. Issue I've run into is I don't have more light bulb markers, which I could get more. That's an easy fix. But I think as I go, I'm just going to remove one, stick it in the other sock, remove one, stick it in the other sock, so I make sure I end up with the same amount of repeats. I never ever, usually, forgive me, socks, for I have sinned against you. Usually I just hold up one sock to the other sock and I'm like, yeah, that's the same size. It's never the same size. My feet are actually not the same size though, so it ends up working out okay. But yeah, this is the first time I should end up, theoretically, with 2 identical socks. But look how pretty this is. I love, like, I know that's kind of weird, but yeah, I need to do more micro striping in stockinette because that's really cool, and I like the way the gusset looks. You're delicious. So that is my next pair of socks. Need to make another one. And now we can talk about my sweater. Alright, if I take some pictures, I just finished this today, so if I take some pictures before the podcast go up, we will throw those in here. I need to block it still. It's a little wonky. So this is the Sanguine sweater. Sanguine? No, it's not. It's not the Sanguine sweater. Who said that? I'm like, I'm saying that wrong because that's the entirely wrong name. This is the Salubrious Sweater. She does have a Sanguine sweater, and this is not it. By morthunder. Salubrious, it means full of health, I think. So she put this out at the beginning of all this drama, and I need to wear a different shirt underneath because this neckline is not behaving. But more or less, this is the first time I have knitted myself a sweater. I knit way back when I first started re-knitting again. I think it's the first thing I actually knit. I don't remember what the pattern was. Some free pattern from somewhere on the internet when Ravelry was a baby. A short sleeve hooded thing that I still have somewhere. And then I have knitted the As If Tee by Shay Johnson, and I have knitted lots of stuff for my daughter because she's itty bitty. But this is the first time I've knitted myself a sweater, and it's kind of been a whole thing. So yeah, I had never done color work before on a sweater. I had done 1 or 2 color work hats, simple color work. So this was the first time doing color work. This was my first time making myself a sweater. This is the first time doing a yoke in knitting. So it's a circular yoke. I am just a basket of fun today, guys. Circular yoke. It was my first time having to knit continental. Not that you have to, but it makes stranded knitting for the color work a lot easier. Most of it's 2-color. There was a couple bits where you were 3-coloring it, and that just was a mess. Ooh, look at my hair. It's a mess too. But I was using a method of holding the yarn by, I don't know if it's her method, but she has a video on it, Very Pink Knits. And none of the yarn balls were getting tangled up, and I was really excited about that because any other time I've done color work, I have to constantly stop and untwist things. I know you're finding these hand motions so helpful. But yeah, so this was my first time that I did the color work and my floats. Can I show you the floats? Well, this is appropriate. The floats aren't terrible. They're not great. There's definitely some spots where I forgot to catch them, but they're not awful. And the tension, I don't know if you can see, there's definitely needs some blocking. It's acrylic, so it's not going to block the greatest, but I think it'll get a little better just to even it all out. So yeah, I think it's also the first time I've done magic loop for the sleeves. There was a whole bunch of firsts in there. So overall, I'm very pleased with how this came out. It became a fiasco, not because of the pattern, but because, kind of pattern, but I did gauge swatch at the beginning, but due to the fact it was my first time doing a colorwork swatch, I definitely messed up the gauge. So I thought I was on gauge, and I think I was a little larger than gauge. Because this is the size 3, which I think was supposed to be for a 38-inch bust, with like a 40-inch or so fit. It was 42-inch. I haven't measured it, but it's definitely, it's pretty big on me, and I'm a 38. So I'd say there's probably a good like 4 inches of positive ease, 3 or 4 inches on either side. So probably about 6 to 8 inches total, which is fine. It fits my bust comfortably. So I'm happy with that, but the body has no shaping in it. I can't show you, but if I drop in pictures, you'll be able to see. Next, if I try and stand up, I can get up a little higher here. Lighting's life. All right. So the body is kind of like, this is my body. This is my waistline. So there's definitely a substantial amount of sweater extra here. I do like things boxy and oversized, but I think this is a little too oversized for me. Just maybe could have used a little more shaping, but it's a beginner level sweater, so that's cool. And then I thought instead of adding shaping that I would drop down a needle size after I did the colorwork part, and that would like tuck it in a little bit, but it actually just made it do some funky balloony stuff right here. You can't really see, but hoping when I block it out, it'll stretch down and behave a little better. Oh, it's my first time doing short rows too. Nailed those, but I need to learn German short rows because this wrap and turn thing, didn't love it. But yeah, so it's real big. I made it longer than suggested, so it is like legging length. Is that a thing? Butt covering, which is how I like my stuff. The tunic length. What else did I modify? I did twisted rib instead of regular ribbing. I did the sleeves with the extra, because she has it as a every 10 row decrease and every 5 row. I did the every 10 row, didn't like how it fit, worked out an entire sleeve, and then did the more frequent decreases for both. I like the length. And what else did I do? I did a split hem on the bottom that you can't see, but it's split. And I think that's about it as far as things that I changed. Overall, it's definitely cozy. This is not going to be like my pride and joy sweater. This is going to be my wear in my house sweater when I'm quarantined. The yarn. Let's talk about the yarn. So someone, I think it was my mother-in-law actually, who had like gone to an estate sale. I said that word weird too. That whole sentence sounded. Am I speaking English? I don't know. My mother-in-law had gotten me some yarns at an estate sale. So I had this like entire bin of acrylic-y goodness. Some of them really liked, some of them not so much. This one had some redemptive qualities because it was flecky. Generally not a huge fan of Red Heart other than maybe for Afghans. But there's definitely a time and a place and a budget and everything for every yarn. So I'm not trying to be a yarn snob, but I'm a little bit of a yarn snob. But if I had to pick an acrylic yarn, which I use acrylic all the time, Red Heart just wouldn't be my go-to. But Red Heart Super Saver, the colorway was discontinued. It's called Black Fleck. They have a black neon fleck currently that's like hot pink and green and stuff, but this one you can see is blue, red, yellow, a little bit of teal, a little bit of green. Ooh, the coloring. Ooh. So I really liked the tweedy look of it. And because Morgan put the pattern out, I can sit back down. I don't need to be sitting on my knees anymore. My chair rocks and I'm totally going to flip. Okay. Morgan put the pattern out without testing because she wanted to get it out for everybody who was quarantining. But she's a reputable pattern writer. That's totally fine. But the estimates on the yarn were estimates because they hadn't been tested, and also my gauge was off. So I think she said you needed about 500 yards of the main color. And here's the yardage on you. So it's 260 per ball. So I had 2 of these, and I was like, yeah, that's, about 500. Should be good. I'll have a little extra, whatever. A little extra, a couple extra yards. I got to like here, like just below the ribbing, or just below the yoke, and ran out of discontinued yarn. P.S. I said this podcast would be shorter, I lied. So I ran out of the yarn, and it's discontinued, so you can't buy it just anywhere. And I was looking on different destashes and stuff, and there's not a lot of people destashing, you know, discontinued Red Heart. So I found some on eBay, and it was going to be like $18 or something ridiculous once you did the shipping, to get one skein of Red Heart, which is normally like $2.69 or something, like $3. So I was like, I'm not paying that. And then I found some on Amazon that I think was $8. So I ordered that. Ordered one skein of it. And in the photo, it was this yarn. In the description, it was this yarn. But in the title, it just said black. And I was like, oh, well, their shop didn't look like they were a super knowledgeable yarny person. And when they sent it to me, it was like, they had like a mechanic business card. I have no idea who was selling that on Amazon. But they sent it to me, and it was just plain black. Plain black Red Heart. I have plenty of that. So we threw that in the border in Afghan. Maybe I'll put it on my lockdown blanket. Yeah, so it was plain black. So then I reached out to the people of the internet. I love you people of the internet. And somebody in a crochet group, Ashante Crochet, if you're interested. It's run by Ashley, obviously, of A Crafty Concept, and Taylor of, I think she's Taylor Lynn Designs or something like that. They run a Facebook group, and it's super encouraging, and you can post all of your whips and your blog posts, and it's really great. They do lives and all sorts of stuff. But so I posted, somebody help me, I have this sweater. Does anybody have it in their stash? Because I had messaged somebody on Ravelry, and she didn't get back to me until after all of this. So yeah, somebody, someone named Danielle had it, and she's like, yeah, I'll send it to you, no problem. So I sent her a couple of my designs, my patterns in exchange, and sent it right off to me like the very same day, and showed up last week, and I finished it. So that's the story of my Salubrious Sweater. You need to block it and take some nice pictures, and then be cozy. I may also throw it in the wash. Can you do that with colorwork? I don't know. That's usually my solution for Red Heart. Maybe if I put it in a garment bag, or a delicates bag, or whatever those wash your underpants bags are. I don't wash my stuff in bags because I'm not fancy. Yeah, I don't know. You need to soften it up a little bit. Red Heart's a little crunchy. But overall, very happy with it, very cozy, and that is the things I have to tell you about today. So if you made it through that, I'm a whole 2 minutes shorter than normal. And thank you for being here. Like I said, I should have another tutorial coming up for you soon, and some stuff as far as pattern designs coming out. If you liked this video, podcast-y style thing, I do this currently every other week, or as often as I can, just while I'm home. And yeah, if you want to like or subscribe to this channel to get more quality me making up words content, yeah, I'm here for it. So thank you for coming. I hope you are happy. I hope you are safe. I hope you are healthy. I hope you have all of the yarn, and I hope you are taking some time to think about what you're grateful for and the positives in all of this. Be it being home with family, or more time with your yarn, or whatever. Try and find the good, and we're gonna get through this. So until I see you next time, guys, happy making, and thanks for coming. Bye.